While we were in Pittwater, we were invited by our friend Pete to come down to the Wooden Boat Festival. It was a real showcase of stunning craftsmanship and, as it turned out, an opportunity to meet some really fantastic people. The first of whom was Pete's friend Steve aboard the Folly II.
Hi Steve, Pascal.
Nice to meet you.
Steve, Troy, how you doing?
Welcome aboard.
Why is there a bottle of wine on there?
Yeah.
Well, in my previous life, I used to be a wine producer, and I did this for 30 years and saw people living a cruising lifestyle, so I thought, I want a piece of that action. So I sold this and bought a yacht and called it Folly II, and did 30,000 miles up and down the coast between Port Davey and Lizard and out to Lord Howe.
30,000?
Yeah.
It's a lot of miles.
But it wasn't on this boat, was it?
No, I've done 6 in this already. And I've got a new terminology. FNMs. No, NFMs.
NFM?
NFMs, nautical effing miles.
Right. Oh, that sounds like from TI to Cairns. They were NFMs. Or what is it, in fact?
It's a Billy Holmes, that plate behind you there, it's the original plate, and there's Billy there. I don't know if you can see Billy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's got a cigar.
Yeah. So he came over from New Zealand and built this vessel in Lavender Bay, opposite Luna Park.
Yep.
In the 20s. It's older than the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It was built just beside the Harbour Bridge, but it's actually older than the Harbour
Wow.
Bridge. Yeah.
And what's she built with? Is it all just one timber?
Kauri is the hull, and the actual through here is Australian cedar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's a beautiful rich colour.
This is silky oak.
Oh wow.
This is a different one.
Yeah, I recognise that. Grevillea.
Yeah. Well done. They're all in flower at the moment. They're beautiful too. You've seen them, all that lovely yellow flower. I'm just the custodian of the course. If I could talk, it'd tell lots of stories. So it was built in Sydney and went to Queensland in the 60s, and we went through all the previous owners up there and met them. But my son found it on the internet after I sold the yacht to consolidate my finances, and then blew all that and some restoring this. So my rego's WBL, which is Wooden Boat Lunacy. And it's there's no other word for it, but you can get therapy for it. But all these people here on this dock would be in a similar...
Same Wooden Boat Lunacy, yeah.
We have a lot of work even with a plastic boat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
7,000 hours on the resto this.
Wow.
Oh really?
Yeah.
All your own sweat and tears?
Oh, and signing of the checkbooks.
Oh.
I screwed these handles on here. But it was done in Brisbane.
It's
at Breakfast
beautiful.
Crew. Yeah. She's a bay cruiser, gentleman's bay cruiser, whatever.
Cruiser.
Yeah.
So I like the open plan design. So
There were doors here originally.
Yep.
And I took them out. Yeah. And opened it up. So that's the only thing I've done to really change the sort of thing. But the only doors on the Dunny, there's early advertisements of vessels like this. It says the lavatory has its own accommodation. The Dunny has a door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what year does the Mirrorball date back to?
Circa 70s, I'd say.
Boogie Nights?
Good fun.
So can we have a look a little bit
let's
deeper
have a
in
look
there?
Please
around.
do. Look a bit deeper.
This isn't, this is great headroom. Only, look, I can stand up straight in between the...
Yeah.
That's exactly what I do. We lower the sole by an inch.
Yeah, right.
Right.
They were short back in the day.
You do that?
That's people ask us when we're going to buy a catamaran, but we like sailing too much.
There you go.
Stop it. Just to give Pete a bit of a...
You're either monogamous or you're
I haven't introduced him yet, but this is Pete.
Hey guys, how are you?
Pete's our escort. The Wooden Boat Show.
Male gigolo, whatever, call it what you like.
This one. How comfy is that?
It's pretty comfy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
They're the best.
It's almost, it's not
Plastic,
spring, is it?
Plastic in a spring. They're real proper nautical mattresses.
Plastic in a spring?
Yes.
Who makes
Oh,
those?
yeah.
Kurt, he's here. He's here. They're made in Europe, but his agent's at Motorvale.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good.
How's that?
Mm-hmm.
They're the bee's knees. No, I go solo. Less complicated.
Right.
Yeah. Much easier. It's
No one could put up with you on a boat for that long.
Well, the autopilot jumped overboard off Crowdy Head, the mongrel. He couldn't put up with the skipper anymore, so
The autopilot.
yeah, Ray. He's nicked off. And I keep on chucking Murphy overboard, but he gets back on the little bastard.
These timers are important. So 20 minutes is because all those freighters are like hull down
That's old
to on your position.
16 knots horizon to on top of you.
Because I had to sail solo down the WA coast and I did the same thing. 3 days, 20 minutes sleeps, around the clock. I started hearing something calling my name from the wake by day 3. I thought, time to go in.
Yeah, there it is there.
There it is.
A queen on her throne.
Washing her hair.
What a head.
I wouldn't edit that out, I'd leave it in. So the grey water sump for the shower, emergency bilge, coffee beans,
Dunny.
Oh, chocolate coated coffee beans.
chocolate coated coffee beans, not any, pink ladies, with proper ones. They're really, you like chocolate coated coffee beans?
Sure.
Yeah. Would you like it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I take 2?
Yeah, of course. I'm down to my last tub.
We're here with Peter on the Witch of Endor. What are we looking at here, mate?
Triple expansion engine, 7 horsepower, 300 bricks. I built it myself, 14 years old. Been down the coast, so she's steamed to Sydney from here.
Oh, really?
A few times.
What do you mean by triple expansion?
Most efficient steam engine you can get. So the steam comes into the high pressure cylinder through a valve.
Yep.
At about 150 psi. Exhausts through the same valve into another valve, into the intermediate pressure.
Yep.
At about 50 psi. Goes through the valve down into another valve into the low pressure cylinder at about 7 pounds per square inch. And then the exhaust is vacuum. So it uses the steam 3 times.
Yeah, right.
Breaks the temperature down 3 times.
And that's what you mean by it's the most efficient.
They couldn't cross the oceans. They couldn't carry enough fuel before they worked this out. So,
All right.
when they worked this out, they could say take enough fuel to run the engines without and have to carry enough cargo.
Okay. Oh,
So
we're not too heavy a cargo, so we're going to go for a spin. See what it's all about.
backwards, stopped.
Peter's boat, the Witch of Endor, is 26 feet long with a beam of 7 foot 6 inches, and she was launched in December 2005.
We're just waiting to take on passengers.
Peter told us that on average the engine consumes 20 kilos of coal per hour when running at about 5 knots, so that's 4 kilos of coal per mile. With no formal machinist qualifications but plenty of passion, Peter built this Elliott Bay triple expansion marine steam engine in 2003 based on his own research. He told us that the engine produces 8 brake horsepower at 300 RPM. You can see his right hand resting on a small brass wheel, and if you're wondering what that does, it's for steering the boat. The 3 cylinder heads and the block, as well as the piston connecting rods, were cast in the United States.
What did you say the revs were?
About 320.
Yep.
And she's doing probably about 5.5, 6 knots.
Really cool.
Yep.
You can see here that Peter is adjusting a valve to reduce the steam pressure from reaching the cylinders so the boat slows down. It acts like a throttle.
Because the fire's still there, hot water's still there, it's not being used, so the pressure goes right up. Thank you very much. That's a pleasure.
The next owner to welcome us aboard was Michael on the Wicked Wench.
An old Art Deco table. Took the panels off the side and that fitted in quite nicely.
Michael was a master of improvisation, and there was a lot of recycled timber on board.
An old solution to getting light below deck that isn't often seen anymore is the deck prism. They are incredibly strong and cut in such a fashion to use refraction to spread natural light throughout the ship's cabin.
I was very impressed by the spacious galley aboard.
I've been on too many boats with too many little galleys and take it in turns to breathe. The glasses, so I modify the design.
Oh,
So
the
that you
slides. Good work.
Lean forward.
Yeah.
I did it. Side of the road, book rack.
Yeah.
Just pop on, pop off.
A sliding wine glass rack. Genius.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I forgot I had a third one.
Yeah.
Look, I only made the damn things. Expect me to remember. I had to go through and make sure I had no glasses that have the club's logo on the boat.
Yes. A particularly fine yacht that caught our eye was a Tasmanian-built cutter-rig sloop named Lucy.
We've just built a shed on someone's property, and we said if we build a shed on your place and live in it, when we leave you can have the shed.
Oh, wow.
We're like, yeah, that works, so we did. So it was a little bit cool in winter, living in the shed while we were building, but it was good because we were sort of there, so we could just, build while we had daylight basically. It was the rule. So there was myself, my husband, and a friend who also did the course with us. He didn't want to go back to Queensland, so we employed him for 3 days a week, and he helped build for the first 3 years. For the last 2 years it was just the two of us, which was the fit out really.
Do you feel like it was a pretty economical way to get a boat?
No, no, not at all.
But it's something that you love.
I mean, but I guess you're not paying for the labour.
Right.
So yeah, for sure.
I understand because I'm a boat owner as well.
Yeah, but yeah.
Cheaper to buy it than build it.
I would say yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But you can't buy it, can you?
Can't buy a
custom
boat. You obviously know every inch of the boat, and the building process was fun, and we just loved it.
So how did you source the timber for Lucy?
We spoke to a lot of Tasmanian boat builders as to where they got their timber from.
Yep.
And we ended up getting the celery from northern Tasmania.
Yep.
And then the hue and pine we got from Burn Bradshaw on the west coast was drawn. Yeah, and it wasn't easy. Yeah, it took 18 months to find the celery,
right.
Especially boat grade.
Yep.
There's plenty of hue, and that wasn't a problem. And inside we've got myrtle, which we can show you.
We were very pleased to be invited below.
Gerwin and Crystal learnt how to build Lucy after doing an 18-month wooden boat course at the Franklin Centre in Tasmania. Lucy was designed by the famous naval architect Ed Burnett. We were shown some photographs of Lucy during the build.
The designer took his own life in 2015.
Oh,
He's a bloody genius. Yeah.
What?
So these are all the boats
So
that
that's
he
what we started.
designed.
That's the celery from the planking and the keel.
No, Crystal made all the patterns and they were taken to a foundry.
Okay.
So there's 18 manganese bronze floors through the boat.
Is there a foundry down in Tassie as well that did that?
Just the one, yeah.
And they pretty much overwhelmed just building boat bits now, or?
No. They work for Hydro Tasmania. A lot of work there.
Everywhere we looked was testament to their attention to detail, including the navigation equipment in the ship's stores. An excellent way to escape the risk of lightning destroying your navigation timepiece is to return to a precision clockwork mechanism. Gerwin sourced this quality Japanese barometer from a shipbreaking agent.
It wouldn't be a free-range boat inspection if Troy's head didn't end up in the engine space.
One of our long-time viewers, Ian, is a timber boat tragic, as well as being a master shipwright. He learnt much of his trade by restoring his Uncle Peter's boat, the Utica II, originally built in 1911. Ian described the restoration as an incredibly involved process that spanned decades, but has resulted in a beautifully finished yacht with a bulletproof hull.
Passenger seat as well as cook seat.
Oh, that was a cook seat. I love how
But everyone sits on the the charts. He wanted, it had to be half a chart. He wanted that to stay up so he could rummage through his charts. He still doesn't like GPS, as you can see. So you can flick your pencil out and all that sort of stuff.
The whole boat was packed with elegant storage solutions. A beautiful feature of Utica II were these etched glass doors, and we asked Ian about them.
Here's 3 laminations of timber with carbon in between, just so it's got impact resistance, and the etched glass is toughened as well. Timber, so looks the same front and back, so you can't tell that we've snuck a load of carbon in there.
Makes a lot of sense to have the mast through the wet area.
One of the great things about coming to the show was seeing all of the well thought out arrangements for making life easier at sea.
Flop this around when it's not seized. And that shoots down into here, which is another slide to fill the centre of the bunk, so you can have twice as much chain and
Right.
get it out of the ends as well. That of course is full.
So do those,
Yeah,
each
they
one
just-
of those is an
yeah.
individual unit?
Just slide in and
Unreal.
clean and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And what better timber to have your chain on than Hume Pine?
So this is really cool as well. Like if you see this person, it's got a little catch and it's got its own cleat.
And it just caps it. It sits in there in its own weight, and then that stays there. You see how he's got the little bits and pieces glued in between it, so you don't get flicks in the individual slats.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's in there.
That's in there. Yeah, it
That's
doesn't go
really
anywhere.
great.
In case you're wondering, this panel drops down between the forward V berths to convert it into a cosy double. Ian told us one of his Uncle Peter's obsessions is getting sufficient airflow through the boat to eliminate mould, and everywhere we looked were clever ways of achieving just this.
That's cool. That latch keeps both panels.
Yeah.
You don't often see that, so that's a really great feature. So all of these latches, you made them as you went.
We made a batch. So we got a bar made up, and then we milled the groove into it, and then we chopped the bar as we needed it,
That's cool. Look at that.
and then we just slide it on the
Okay,
outside.
Yeah, right.
So that's why when they become a bit cumbersome and they're that big, is to get them empty to pull out and forward, and then shove it out there somewhere to get your sleeping bag out.
Is it a heavy chain?
That should be chain.
Yeah.
Chain on water.
So you can, is that there just so you can tie the chain down to added security, or?
Exactly, added security.
Whilst there were 90 boats on display at the festival, we only got the chance to go aboard a handful of boats because all of the owners we met were so interesting to talk to, we lost track of time.
A big thank you to all of the lovely owners of these splendid ships for chatting with us and allowing us to showcase their incredible craftsmanship in this video.
Well, we really hope you enjoyed the video this week. It was something a little different, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button.